Well, 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 the new High Ascended Supreme event has now begun, and in this event you can get your hands on the new Supreme skill skin. However, before you ask me, you can see what it does there. If you're going to ask how possible is it to get to 100 insignias, that's going to depend on how many Ascended Dragons you already have, or how many Ascended Dragons you have that are empowered, because we do have Ascended quests, and I will show you those in a second, but I believe there's about 40 insignias available in the upcoming events, which means that you need to get about 60 of them minimum from the quests, and to be honest, there are a couple of them that aren't actually acquirable from the current grid event. And if you want to know about the grid event, which has been released today, I would highly recommend going for the event items in this. You can see that we have Berserker insignias, we have fish skeletons, and we have the new Supreme insignias for this event. And I'd highly suggest going for them because the Kraken Dragon, which is the main reward dragon for this event, you can get him from Rescue anyway. So I think going for him is pretty pointless. But the thing is, we have some insignias here, only ×2, but ×2 actually makes a big difference. And these two insignias here, they are like 10,000 currency more than you can actually get free to play, unless my math is completely wrong. But if you want to know where the guide is for this, in the DC event guide section of my Discord server, you can just join the Discord server and see it for free. You'll see the latest post, you can click it and open in browser, and then it will open up this bigified version for you. So essentially, if you wanted to get the dragon, he would be 18,000 currency just about, but getting him plus all of the event items on the way through is like 24,700 currency, but the max amount of currency you can get without ads is about 9,200. So it's almost 3 times the amount to get both the dragon and the event items compared to the amount that we can actually get from the resets, quests, and so on. So unless you get super lucky with ads or you have the pay to win section, but free to play, you're probably gonna get somewhere around here. Getting to this section gets really expensive, so don't expect to be hitting these insignias free to play. So all things considered, what else can you actually get out of this Arc of Ascension event? Because yes, 100 gets you the skill skin and you get 500 orbs for him, which is very tempting, but like I said, you will need probably multiple E5 Ascendeds, or multiple E4 Ascendeds, or all E3 Ascendeds. Otherwise, your chance of getting this are very slim. Someone asked me if you had 2 E3 Ascendeds and all the rest E2, is it enough? And honestly, I don't think it is. I think it's gonna be just under because of the grid event. So that's just to put it in perspective. You would need like 2 E3s, maybe 3 E3s, and the rest E2s, roughly around about that, and then you'd probably get enough for this skin. So that's just to give you a quick baseline. But on top of the 100, of course, we also have chests, and I actually really like this chest here because you'll see the Supreme chest, the gold chest. You are guaranteed orbs of High Ascended Supreme, and you are also guaranteed a drop of any Ascended Dragon. So you could get a duplicate, or you could just get new dragons as a whole. So I actually really like this chest, and I think that it's okay for 30, which means that if you have some existing dragons, you do all the events, you might get 2 of these. If you are going for the skill skin, you'll get at least 3, so that would be 3 free Ascendeds. So which ones you get, of course, is down to RNG, but getting any of them is pretty good. We've also got the 12 ones as well, which does give you orbs of any of the Ascendeds, which can help with trading or just summoning them. And then we've got the bronze chest, which has like random heroic stuff, which honestly, all the drops out of this are pretty good. So I don't mind this. It's every 5 as well, so you can get a lot of bonus heroic orb stuff. But to get these insignias, again, you can get them either from events like this current grid event, because we've got ×2 really early on, or the main way that you'll be getting them and the main way that people stack them is going to be via the quests, if they ever load, that is. But these events benefit players massively that already have the Ascendeds unlocked and empowered. If you don't already have them, don't expect too much out of these events. But that being said, you can do the first battles and get a free insignia, but in order to get all the way through all the stages, you do need a level 61 of that dragon. So the only way to get all of the insignias and the extra orbs is if you have a fully empowered Ascended Dragon for those events. But on the plus side, us being able to do at least one means that we can rank up dragons. So if you've got some Ascended Dragons, for example, Ascended Daddy here, Ascended Bravery, we could put them in and try and get some last hits on these battles here, and you know, potentially get some bonus orbs either to trade with or whatever you want to do with them. So I would highly recommend making sure that you are ranking up the dragons that you really want to get boosted stuff on them at the moment. My guy's only at level 30, so it is a bit of a struggle trying to get these dragons ranked up when they are such a low level, especially because we don't have Facebook friends as an option anymore, so it can be kind of difficult. But these dragons, of course, have divine intervention, and that can be quite useful at times. And we do have the different families with the Ascended Dragons as well, so whenever you're looking at Ascended Dragons, make sure you look at their skills and you know which one is which, so that you don't, you know, go after the wrong ones. But anyway, that's the first quest here. You can see that there is an hour cooldown, and if you want to know what the requirements are for these quests, they are actually on Ditlep, and this is one of the things that I would actually recommend you use Ditlep for. So you'll see that it shows you all the rewards, and it'll show you for stage 1 you can use anything. For stage 2 you will actually need that Ascended Dragon, so already you'll only be able to do stage 1, and then immediately you need the dragon. If you want to know what you can get with a non-empowered version of the dragon, it is this quest here, which is stage 6. So if you look at stage 6, all that you're going to get out of that is 2 insignias if you have a level 40. So it's not very many if you just own the dragon. And then of course you empower it, you can get more insignias. The more you empower it, more and more and more. So they very much do not want you to be able to do these events without having empowered dragons, because, you know, I like getting new dragons, and getting new dragons can be difficult, especially legendary VIPs, but for these ones, they want you to both get the dragon and empower the dragon a lot to get, even get close to getting that skill skin, which it's not impossible for free-to-plays, but it will probably almost certainly be free-to-plays that have already gotten the dragons from previous events and already have them empowered, because, you know, like some people, they already use Ascended Deity, for instance, because they love using Ascended Deity because he's quite a good one. At least they think that in terms of the primary element, so you'll see that as well. But at least these quests, like I said, can be used for ranking up dragons now that we've lost our Facebook ones. But the Ascended Dragons themselves are not the only dragons that we have to worry about at the moment, because we do have the new set of quests. We've got the new Mercer dragon available in these events as well. So, you know, we've got Heroic Race going on, so don't forget about that. We've got Grid Event going on, and again, you can just use the guide, or you can just literally go, I want to pick up the fish, I want to pick up the insignias, and just go that way. You don't really need guides for Grid, to be honest, but it can help to visualize it, which is the only reason I made it. But on top of that new set of quests, you should have gotten your leaderboard stuff. I got mine. You'll see that I'm actually one off because, well, I didn't watch one set of ads because I was really busy during his leaderboard event, but I didn't really care about him anyway. But this time, on top of us having a new Home No More event for this dragon, so Mercer, and the best way to get these dragons is via the leaderboard rewards, by the way, because if you try and get these dragons via collection, well, getting 20 of them is not going to happen most of the time. So you can get the rest of them, like the lucky perk chest, so free perks, you can get trade essence, you can get joker orbs, which are fine, but you're probably not getting all 20 of these free to play, so just be aware of that as you're collecting your fishies. But the main one that we do want to talk about here is the new leaderboard event dragon, because this current leaderboard event, you can see, is going to finish, well, it's going to finish in it says 6 days, 20 hours. These quests we've got finishing in 4 days. This one's finishing in 7 days because of the heroic race. But it's going to give us orbs for the new dragon, and it's also going to give us emblems for the new leaderboard event dragon. So I don't know if they're ever going to give any more of these leaderboard items out for rivals emblems or not, but it looks like he is done. The new leaderboard dragon is actually interesting to me because this Lucid Ally dragon is believe it or not, a healer. So if we look at the skills here, you'll see that we've got Silky Slumber, which heals the user and all allies. And normally you'd be like, well, we've got dragons that like deal damage and they heal, so that's not too interesting. But you gotta remember that this is basically just a random legendary, and if you somehow manage to get the skill skin, assuming they don't screw up the time frames or anything on it like the previous one, then the skill skin, it says, by owning the skin, your dragon and her allies will receive boosted life points for her Silky Slumber Slumber skill, deal boosted damage for her nature attack, and her overall damage stat and life points will be boosted. So it's similar to the other ones. Basically, it just makes them a bit better overall. We get the armor so that they can take more attacks, I guess, but it also boosts that skill. And to be honest with you, as bare bones as it is, just having a free heal on an E5 skilled up extra HP dragon honestly does not sound like the end of the world to me. It might not be the best dragon in the game, of course not, but it is still a dragon that I think you could use in some maybe niche cases if you ever needed it. I mean, it depends on whether you like the dragon as well. I mean, to be honest, it's a kind of fugly looking dragon, and the skill skin just makes it a bit greener, like differently greener, and the body blue. It sort of reverses the colors on the dragon. It's not a pretty dragon, but I like him. I do like him. And did the description say it was a female? I can't remember. Yes, it says that it is a female. So we've got a female healer dragon that has a nice skill skin. I would probably try and go for it, but we'll see how we do with our leaderboard. Of course, you might end up in a super pay to win leaderboard or a super free to play leaderboard, but just see what you get, see if you can get the skill skin or not. If not, you don't have to deal with the skill skin on the enemies anyway, but you can just get free orbs for the dragon, so there is that. So those are the main new things that have started. Of course, we've still got our arena going on. We've still got Dragon TV going on as well, so they're the other events. And if you want to know what other events we have going on at the moment, we will have a fog event starting after the grid event. So you can scroll down here and check the Home No More event. So at the moment, we've got the grid event from the 20th to the 24th, and then from the 24th to the 27th, we will have a grid event that will have more items in it. So do bear that in mind. And again, for the grid event, it might end up being super cheap, but I mean, the fog event might end up being super cheap, but the grid event this time seems to be super expensive, unless there is something really obvious that I have missed in my guide, but it just seems oddly expensive. Windows players still don't have their ads either. And now, in terms of the offers, again, I'm fully free to play, so I don't really comment on offers and costs for things in this game too much, but the prices on these Ascendeds are very expensive. That being said, they are giving you orbs for all of the different Ascendeds. They are going to give you insignias as well. I know that this is like a major event, as they're calling it, so that you can get a new skill skin for High Ascended Supreme after his marathon. But they are very expensive bundles, in my opinion. However, one other option that you do have is that we do actually have Ascended Egg chests available in the treasure shop. And normally I never look at the treasure shop, because the problem is in most of these chests you're not actually guaranteed a dragon that you want. This one you're guaranteed one, but the Ascended Egg chest you are actually guaranteed one of each different family. So if you open up this one, for instance, you are guaranteed one of these four. So it's a 25% chance of a dragon that you need, and then in this one you are guaranteed the orbs of any of these, but it's only going to be one of them. I say orbs, but the actual dragon, not the orbs. But you are guaranteed one of these. The cost is 300, and are they worth 300 gems each? 300 is okay. It's not super expensive. It's not cheap. If you have like maybe 1200 gems, I could probably consider maybe buying two of these, but that would really mess with your gem count quite a bit. And again, say you buy two of these for 600. The problem is, if you're going for as many of these as you can just to get them for the quests, to get the insignias, just owning the dragon isn't going to be enough. And the problem is, we don't know when the next Empower Happy Hours are going to be. Maybe I should have empowered one of my Ascendeds in the end, but instead I went for my Pulse boy. But the problem that we have is we don't know when the next Empower Happy Hours are going to be. Sometimes when they have these events on, they do host a lot more of them than usual to actually give people a chance to do the quest, but there is no guarantee that that's going to happen. So the problem is, you get the dragons, you spend all these gems, and then you can't actually get many insignias from them anyway. So honestly, if you don't have any Ascendeds right now, just see how your RNG goes with your drops and see if you can get any from this 30 chest. If you manage to get 30 of them, you know, free Ascended wouldn't be too bad. But this is an event that will primarily benefit those that are either willing to spend a lot of money or are going to benefit the free-to-plays, or those that don't spend very much that already have Ascended dragons. So yeah, I do have like I said, I've got a couple of them myself, but you'll see a lot of people trading these at the moment. As soon as the arena chest ends, the arena alliance chest, you'll probably see tons of people trading for ascended dragons. People were trading for them before that were in the know, so to speak, but I've got 3 of them, which isn't very many. I would just like to get any of them or all of the rest of them while this event is on, and since we do have the event for them, it means that their orbs are going to be easy to find. So much like the Berserker quest, towards the end of the event you will find that these dragons will become a lot easier to get the orbs of. So your best bet with getting all of these dragons is definitely going to be when you're sort of in the last 20 to 10% of the event time frame, just because people have already traded off a lot of their orbs for the quest reasons, but not everyone's traded out all of their orbs entirely. So you'll catch some of the stragglers that didn't really care about the actual event and the quest too much, and you might be able to get some good trades, or people that get really good drops at the very end of the event. Well, they're not going to get too much use out of them anyway at that point, so maybe they just don't like them, they want to trade for a different legendary VIP. So I like that Social Point these days is hosting a lot of events, because even if you don't want to take part in all of them, if you are someone that's been looking for ascended dragons, for instance, well, it gives you a good opportunity to actually, oh god, I don't think I can do that battle, but it gives you a good opportunity to actually be able to, I'm not sure about this one, we'll see, but it gives you a good opportunity to be able to get some dragons that otherwise you may have had a big struggle trying to get. So there is that. I don't know why I did this one instead, but we'll see how much damage they do. Occasionally I do run into battles at the moment that are just a bit too difficult, and that is pretty much just because my pure team is not the best in the world. But on the upside, we are going to get out of this arena very shortly, so I'm not too overly worried. I'll let him take one of these pure hits though, because I don't want my nest having to take a fully fledged primal hit like that if I can avoid it, and then we can use her on the rest of the dragons, which going against High Arcana Judgment is not what you want because she's going to heal anyway. But you know, if we can get 2 KOs, actually I'm not even sure if we will, but you know, occasionally you will run into difficult battles. Yeah, I think we're only gonna get 1 KO even. Oh, that sucks. But yeah, we're gonna get out of this arena anyway, so you may be struggling a little bit like me, but once we get to the next Masters Arena, we should be Gucci. And look, our opponents this time are super easy, so 1 lost battle is fine. It's not like our dragons go on cooldown at the moment. If your dragons do end up going on cooldown, yeah, that can be a big problem then. But with New Age Arena, you'll have a much easier time. So yeah, there is that. But you know, if you want to be perfect in every single arena and get 100% of your battles completed, every single chest, no question, you need like, what, 20 plus dragons pretty much. So unless you are either super paid to win or you played a long time, it takes a long time to get up a lot of dragons. And ascended dragons, as per this event, can actually be quite useful. The ones that, you know, can heal the team. So just be aware of that, the differences between each of the ascendeds, because we do have 2 separate families. That's why those eggs are split as well. So make sure you go for the ones that you actually want, and if you are going to get them in the event, they might as well be useful ones for you to use long term rather than just for the next 5 minutes, right? So that's what we're going to do. But anyway, I'm going to keep doing my arena grinding shortly. In terms of everything else, we just have to get as much as we can out of this High Ascended Supreme event. I'm currently waiting on breeding. I got to lap 15 like 2 days ago or something, and I just lost all interest, but our guy's on lap 18. I've already got High Ascended Supreme, so I didn't really need a duplicate of him anyway. But of course, the further we go laps wise, the more orbs we get for him, and then same with this new event, the more orbs we get for him, we can get an E3, we can get an well, I've got an E3, an E4, E5 maybe. I'm not too bothered, but I'm probably not going for the skill skin because, again, I've only got 3 of the Ascendeds and they're not empowered. So it just is what it is. We may not do well on this one, but I'm devoting my time to my guard dragons in preparation for an event where we can potentially use those instead. So this event, I'll enjoy it, but I'm not expecting too much. However, guard event, I am coming for your butt cheeks, guard event. Mark my words. But anyway, aside from that, we've got one last surprise. We've got the beautiful Toaster Boy ready and raring to go. Because like I mentioned before, I do want to get him empowered because we've got like 1,800 orbs, nearly 1,900 orbs for him. which means that we are very, very close to being able to E5 him without even using Joker Orbs, and I think he's just a lovely boy. I'm only going to take him to 30 for now so that we don't waste too much of our food, because as you can see, I'm running a little bit low because I fed a couple of things earlier, but our little toaster boy here is going to get E5'd shortly. I don't know what name to give him though. Maybe you give him a name. We'll see what names we want to give Dino Don here so that we can take him to E5 and then he can sit on our profile next to our lovely, lovely Duo Destruction. I think that'll be a nice profile then. Duo Destruction. Imagine an entire line of level 69 dinosaurs. I think that is my true goal in Dragon City. Screw like getting every dragon or getting a bunch of level 70s. All I want is just level 69 dinosaurs. But anyway, I guess for now there's no reason why you have to hold on to your grid currency either, because if you're going for event items, you're just going to go and spend it on the event items anyway. So you'll see some people have already spent it, and that's why you can see them on your leaderboard event changing their ranks. But you might as well pick up the fish earlier, get the insignias, see what you can get early, and then also make sure that you're logging in for your daily streaks as well, because I've been missing mine like I usually do. But you know, just make sure you're doing as much as you can, because everything that you can pick up, even if it's a few extra orbs, a few extra dragons or whatever, it will help you in the end. So it's up to you what you want to go for in this grid event. You can go for Kraken if you want. I don't recommend it because he's in rescue, but you do you at the end of the day. If you don't think these fish items are very useful or the insignias are very useful, you can ignore them. It's up to you. You can do what you like. This game is up to you. You can waste all your currency if you want. You can waste all your essence doing cross-trade ratio trades. No one can stop you. They can only advise you. It's probably not very good idea to do it, but hey, it's up to you at the end of the day. But for now, I'm gonna skedaddle. So best of luck with all of these collection events. I hope that you get everything that you want out of them, and if you are going for that skill skin, I hope you have enough food and you have all of your dragons ready, because it's going to be a lot of food to get them at a high enough level to get enough insignias to actually get them. So don't forget about that little extra bit that you'll need on top of all of the empowering stuff. But it's a cool skin, so best of luck to you.